What's going on, guys? Anyone back here with another video, and today we're gonna be talking about what if Naruto was taken by Jiraiya for 3 years part 4. So let's begin the video. The Hokage was approaching a room. Standing near its double doors was an Onwu guarding it. The Onwu bowed to the Hokage and opened the door. The Hokage entered the room, and to his left were seated the clan heads of Konoha, and also known as the Shinobi Council. To his left were the few important civilian council. Also, near the Shinobi Council were also seated 3 people. They were Hamura, Koharu, and Saimura Danzo. They were the former teammates of Tsuda Hokage in his Genin days and are currently his advisors or elders. The Hokage made his way through the room and sat at a small table in front of the council. Good morning, everyone. Now, may I know the reason why the council has been summoned? The Hokage asked in a bored tone. After dealing with all the paperwork, he was still put up with the damn council. Yes, Hokage-sama, one of the merchants of the civilian council said as he stood up. We heard that Naruto Uzumaki, graduated from the academy. You cannot allow him to become a shinobi. He's too dangerous, he said. The Hokage sighed. He knew this day would come. Naruto is not dangerous. He is already proven to be a loyal shinobi, but also graduated as the Rookie of the Year, along with Suki Uchiha. And the only reason he has not been made a genin is due to the request of his guardian, the Hokage said. He's clearly a demon. He stole the Rookie of the Year title from Uchiha-sama, a pink banshee yelled, making everyone suffer from her freakishly high voice. You should choose your voice carefully, civilian, the Hokage said, raising his kindling intent, making her sweat. My law is still in effect. But Hokage-sama, you cannot allow him near the clan heirs. You should herd them all, a fat merchant said, while the shinobi side rolled their eyes. Enough, the Hokage said in a serious tone. Many of his civilians may not know, but Naruto has already saved this village today, he said, getting confused looks from everyone. As you don't know, today one of the academy teachers, Mizuki, broke into the Hokage's vault and stole the scroll of sealing. He was intercepted by Eureka Omino and they engaged in a combat. But if Naruto didn't show up, Eureka would have been dead, and the village without the scroll. Naruto defeated a Chunin with relative ease, proving once again he's known as a genius. Hokage concluded. Everyone gasped. A fresh rookie from the academy beating a Chunin was almost unheard of. You see, Hokage-sama is already becoming too powerful. We must kill him. Now, finish what the force started, a fat merchant said, trying to reason with the Hokage and put an end to the demon. You keep forgetting that this is a shinobi village and I, the Hokage, am in command of my forces. My word is law, remember well. This meeting is finished, the Hokage said, rubbing his temples. I'm getting too old for this shit, he thought as he watched everyone in the room leave. Later that night, Naruto was walking around the village with Suki. You're not going to be on my team, Suki said in a rather sad tone. Naruto noticed her sadness in her voice and decided to speak. Don't worry, it's not like this is gonna affect our friendship anyways, Naruto said. Suki sighed and thought, Naruto, you're so damn dense. You're so goddamn oblivious, she thought. They walked around for a while. 2 figures were dashing through rooftop to rooftop. They wore standard Jonin outfit of Konoha, the headband in their forehead, the Jonin flight jacket and black Onbu pants with white strapping in their ankles. Do you remember that plan? One of the Jonin asked, getting a nod from the other. Let's get this over with, so we can collect our pay, the other said, and rushed towards the destination. They arrived at the red light sector, and very quietly made their way towards the 2. They saw the demon walking with the Uchiha. This was not acceptable. This made their resolve to kill the demon even more. The two Jonin approached the two, suppressing the chakra, and took out their kunai. This is your end, demon, they thought, as they brought their kunai and stabbed Naruto. His eyes widened when the Naruto they stabbed. There was a poof of smoke. The Jonin turned around, and the sight they saw was not a pleasant one. They saw Naruto with a sword and lightning cackling around the sword. Why are you attacking us? It's a crime to attack a fellow Leaf Shinobi, Naruto asked, pretty much knowing the answer. You're no partner to us. Die, demon. The Jonin responded and took a kunai and slashed horizontally. Naruto blocked the sword using his own and used the sword as a support to jump and kick the Jonin right in the face. The other Jonin, seeing this, came to slash Naruto, but Naruto grabbed his sword and blocked it and jumped back. These two are Jonin. The only way I'm gonna beat them is by using my strongest attack, Naruto thought. As he took a stance, his sword cackling with lightning style. Flash step cutter, Naruto said, as it vanished in a yellow flash, and the last thing the two Jonin saw was a slash at their chest, and they both dropped to the ground, dead. At least, one of them did. The other Jonin was barely conscious. Naruto looked at Suki. You will need to carry me home, he said as he collapsed. Suki ran towards him and saw he was unconscious. She sighed and took out a scroll and sealed away the bodies of the Jonin and picked Naruto up. This house is too far. I guess today we're going at my home, she thought, as she took the unconscious Naruto to her house. Suki arrived at her house, still with unconscious Naruto, and laid him at her bed. What was that attack? He took out both of those Jonins in one single attack, and then fainted due to chakra exhaustion, she thought, as she looked at the unconscious Naruto and smiled. She slept beside him and put her head on his chest, and slept with a smile on her face. The next morning, the sun shined on the apartment of one Uzumaki Naruto as he woke up in his bed, drool coming out of his face, but with the sunshine in his eyes, the blonde began to stir awake. His blue eyes slowly further opened as he lied on the bed. He slowly glanced around. He took a deep breath before and stretched as he was about to get up. For the day, he couldn't because there was extra weight on him than usual. He glanced to see Suki's head laying on his chest. A small blush appeared on his face, but it quickly disappeared as the memories of last night hit him. He was attacked by the Jonin, and he has used his most powerful technique. Naruto felt Suki moving as she opened her eyes and looked at Naruto, realizing that her head was on his chest. Yo, Naruto said. As Suki jumped up, her entire face was red. I'm sorry, you fainted last night, so I brought you here. She was cut off by Naruto. Don't worry about it. And what did you do with the bodies? Naruto asked as she smiled at him. They're safe in the scroll, she said as he took out a scroll. Good, I will take this to the Hokage, Naruto said as he got up. And by the way, Suki, he said as he smiled at her. Thank you, he said, as he took the scrolls from her hand and vanished in the yellow bolts of lightning. Suki stood there and smiled. That Naruto is too much, she said. Naruto went at his apartment as he took out a scroll and put some chakra through it. As in a puff of smoke, the Jonins that attacked him appeared. Hi there, buddy. Let's talk now, Naruto said in a sweet tone that sent shivers down the mind's spine. Damn, demon, I'm not saying anything to you. You might as well kill me now. The Jonin tried to hide his fear at being at the mercy of the demon after trying to kill him. Now, where's the fun in killing you? Naruto said as he took out a piece of paper that had weird writing on it and placed it on the man's head. The Jonin was trapped in a genjutsu and felt like he was burned alive. Since he was tied up and had chakra restriction seal, he couldn't break the illusion. This went on for a few minutes until the Jonin decided that he couldn't break it anymore. Okay, I'll talk. Please stop, he begged. Until Naruto ended the jutsu and looked at him with his seal that was not glowing. That meant the man was out of the genjutsu. And he was also telling the truth. It was a deal. Me and my friend would kill you for a payment, the Jonin explained, looking at the corpse of his friend and thinking it was a mistake to accept it. But it was too late now. I see. And who requested this mission? Jonin hesitated in telling him who asked for the death of the demon. Naruto locked eyes with him. His cold blue eyes that seemed to penetrate his soul made him flinch. It was Tuno Konta, a merchant of this village, and belongs to the civilian council, the Jonin answered. Naruto already suspected it. It would be one of the civilians, with wealth enough to hire 2 Jonins. What are you going to do to me? The Jonin asked in a fearful voice. He didn't want any more pain. He would prefer a quick death. As much as I would like to kill you now, but I won't. I'm delivering this to the Hokage with your friend over there, and after I'm calling for execution of that civilian, Naruto said, and went behind him and knocked the man out with a quick chop in the neck. What am I going to do with these damn civilians? Naruto said. Hokage Tower. The Hokage was currently leaning in his chair, enjoying a cup of hot tea to jumpstart his day in his paperwork. It was truly that nightmare of all the Kages. Suddenly, there was a knock on his door. Come in, the old Hokage said. The door was open and he saw an unhappy Naruto carrying 2 scrolls. This can't be good, he thought. Naruto, what are you doing here? He asked. I'm fine. Better than these 2, in fact, Naruto replied, tossing the scroll to the Hokage. Naruto, what's this? The Hokage asked. Open them and see it for yourself. Naruto, the Hokage opened both of the scrolls and saw it. It was a sealing scroll. He channeled chakra through both of them, and on the floor appeared a dead Jonin, while the other was tied up but awake. Naruto, what's the meaning of this? The Hokage asked in a serious tone. Naruto walked to the tied up Jonin and removed the duct tape on his mouth and asked, Would you do the honors, please? To which the Jonin quickly replied, We were hired by Tsuno Konta to kill Naruto. The man gulped and continued, Jeez, what a mess. The other is dead, I suppose, the Hokage asked, and Naruto nodded. I had to use my flagstep card, otherwise I would have met my mom and dad already, he said. The Hokage got up from his seat. Naruto, are you alright? You know that move is a double-edged sword. It does kill its opponent in a flash, but to move at such high speeds at your age, you know what'll happen, the Hokage said, worried. Naruto shrugged it off. Don't worry, I'm fine. Suki was there and she took me to her apartment for the night, Naruto said. As Naruto's sweat dropped, he was taking this too lightly. At least you didn't get hurt. Don't worry, Naruto. The man responsible for this will be considered a traitor for attacking a shinobi and will be dealt with, the Hokage said, glaring at the Jonin. It was pitiful to see his own shinobi fall so low that they would attack and try to kill their own. Well, old man, gotta go, Naruto said as he vanished in a lightning sunshine. Hokage flared his chakra and in front of him appeared an Anbu. Take the one alive to Ibiki and Anko, and also get Chonta and send him to Ibiki as well, the Hokage ordered. I'm getting right to it, sir, the Anbu said. I'm getting too old for this shit, the Hokage thought. Naruto arrived at Suki's apartment. Yo, Naruto said, as Suki jumped from the table and glared at him. You could at least knock at the door, you idiot, she said. Naruto scratched the back of his head. Sorry, he said. As he sighed, "Why did you come here?" she asked. Naruto looked at her. "Duh, we're going to the academy. For our teams," he said, as Suki got a tick mark on her forehead. "I know that, but I mean, why are you here?" she said, as Naruto took a step back in fear. "Well, I thought we could go there together," he said, still scared of Suki's attitude change, complete 180 degree. "You should have said that earlier. I'll get my stuff. You wait right here," she said as she rushed towards her room. This girls are gonna be the end of me," Naruto thought. "Are you ready, Suki?" Naruto asked, getting a nod. He held her arm and vanished in a lightning sunshine towards the academy. They arrived at the roof, not wanting to arouse many questions. They made their way down to the respective classroom. The room was already filled with their friends. However, Eureka Sensei still hadn't arrived. Suki made her way up the stairs and sat in the back row. Naruto, of course, followed her, but as he was walking, he was met by the glare of one Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke was still pissed about losing to the dope. Even though Naruto was the rookie of the year, he was still an Uchiha, and no one could defeat an Uchiha. How could trash like that defeat me, an Uchiha? And why is he hanging out with Suki? Why so much and only an Uchiha can date an Uchiha? The next time we battle, he'll beg for mercy, Sasuke thought, smirking. Even though Naruto had grown up physically but also mentally, he still couldn't resist a few taunts, especially from Sasuke, a fellow clan member of his best friend, who she saw as a brother. They stayed like that for a few minutes, glaring at each other until Sasuke had enough, turned away, plotting various ways to kill his brother. Naruto walked up the stairs to join Suki when another problem appeared in form of Kiba Inuzuka. "Hey Suki-chan, how are you?" Kiba asked as he moved to sit next to her. "I'm fine, Kiba." "Stop, that chair is for Naruto," she replied. "How come on, Suki-chan, I'm better than him, an alpha," Kiba said, rubbing his finger in the bridge of his nose. Kiba, of course, being from the Inuzuka clan, had a high sense of pride and manliness due to the fact that he was the heir to the clan. "Kiba, stop hitting on her when she clearly doesn't like you," Naruto said as he approached both of them. Kiba, who sneered at him and sat next to Suki. "Stop pressing her," Kiba yelled, gathering attention of most of the people in the class and the residential genius. "Damn it, Kiba. Do you have to be so loud, so troublesome?" Shikamaru said as he yawned and tried to resume his sleep. "Go back to sleep, dumbass," Naruto replied. "Smartass," Shikamaru replied, and went back to sleep. "Kiba, Suki doesn't like you, so stop bothering her, or," Naruto said, raising his killing intent, making him sweat, and further proving his points. On top of Kiba's head, there was a small dog called Akamaru. He was Kiba's partner for the collaboration ninjutsu. Akamaru just said "Alpha." However, Kiba didn't listen and tried to punch Naruto. What no one saw coming was that Naruto didn't even move an inch. It was Suki who got up and gave Kiba a lightning shock, leaving him on the ground clutching in pain. "Don't you think that was too much, Suki?" Naruto whispered in her ear. "I'm tired of him always trying to get me out with him," Suki replied, getting a nod from Naruto. Kiba got up and went to a different seat while glaring daggers at Naruto. A few minutes passed, and running was his face connected with Sasuke. However, this connection was rather unfortunate. They connected their lips. The entire class froze, seeing the most desired male, which was Sasuke kissing an alpha male. "Looks like Kiba finally found his girl," Naruto said out loud for everyone to hear. Suki slapped the back of his hair. "Don't speak about Sasuke like that," he said. Naruto got a smirk on his face. So, you like Sasuke, huh? He said and got smacked again. Why would he say that when it's clear the person I like? She realized that she was almost gonna confess, and she covered her mouth. You like who? Naruto said, as Suki was red than a tomato. No one, get lost, idiot, she said as Naruto laughed. The whole class male was laughing their asses off the event, except for the fangirls who were plotting to various ways to murder Kiba. Kiba and Sasuke immediately separated. Quickly enough, Kiba received his fate at the ends of the fangirls, leaving him in the ground in a bloody mess. Everyone quieted down after the event, and suddenly the door opened of the classroom, and Eureka entered with a stack of paper beneath him. Morning, class, Eureka said, and was surprised that he didn't need to use his patented big head jutsu to silence his class. After today, every one of you are now ninja of the leaf, but you are mere genin. Eureka started. The difficult part is only beginning. You will now be divided into teams of 3 members and will be taught by Jonin Sensei. We tried to balance the teams, so here they are. Team 7, Haruno Sakura, Sasuke Uchiha, and Suki Uchiha. Your sensei will be Hatake Kakashi, Yuka said. All the teams were called out, but Naruto's name was not. So, one of his fangirls decided to speak. Iruka sensei, what about Naruto-kun? She asked, as Iruka looked at her. Naruto will be in 2-man squad with Senjuro Blackrose as his Jonin sensei, Iruka said as the whole class gasped. Senjuro was the man who was said to be even stronger than all of the 33 Sanins, and he was Naruto's sensei. But sensei, shouldn't Sasuke-kun be taken as an apprentice? The pink banshee yelled as Iruka glared at her, which made her shut up. The classroom door opened as a Jonin entered. The Jonin had one traditional Jonin clothes. He wore a black Anbu pants with a red Jonin fly jacket and a cloak with a kanji of fire in it. He was a tall man with yellow and orange spiky hair up to his shoulder and orange eyes. Uzumaki Naruto, meet me at the rooftop in 10 seconds, he said as vanished in a burst of flames. All the students in the class widened their eyes. It would at least take 5 minutes to get to the rooftop, and 10 seconds was, well, impossible. They looked at Naruto, who vanished in a yellow flash. Naruto appeared at the rooftop in a yellow flash, huffing. What the hell, sensei? If I didn't have the flying Raiji mark on the rooftop, I would have never reached the rooftop in damn 10 seconds, Naruto said, huffing. The Senjuro gave me a blank look. So, you know your father's jutsu, but I can see that you haven't mastered it yet. It consumes a lot of chakra, doesn't it? Senjuro asked, amused. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the man. How do you know about my heritage? Naruto said, as Senjuro smiled. You see, your father and I were good friends, and Master Jiraiya told me that Minato had a son, so I told the Hokage to make me your Jonin sensei, Senjuro said, as Naruto nodded in understanding. Well, let's start by introducing ourselves. I'll go first. My name is Senjuro Blackrose. My likes are training and fire. My dislikes are people who are selfish and want war. My goal is to bring peace to the world by killing 4 people, Senjuro said. As Naruto nodded, confused, but started talking. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. My likes are training and ramen. My dislikes are the people who can't notice the difference between a kunai and a scroll. And my goal is to be the fastest man alive that surpasses his father and become Hokage. Naruto said as Senjuro smiled at him. Minato, it's like I'm looking at a younger version of you, Senjuro thought, as he smiled at Naruto. Now, since we know each other, I want you to see your skills, Sanjuro said. Naruto raised an eyebrow. You want to spar? Naruto asked, as Sanjuro nodded. Naruto got up. Very well. Let's go to the training ground 44, Sanjuro said as he vanished in a burst of flames. Asshole, Naruto thought, as he vanished in a bolt of yellow lightning. Training ground 44. Sanjuro was standing in the middle of the training ground, waiting for Naruto, as Naruto appeared in a bolt of yellow lightning. You're slow for someone who wants to surpass Minato, Sanjuro said as Naruto got a tick mark on his forehead. Sorry, I'm not a Kage level ninja, Naruto said as Sanjuro ignored him. Now, come at me with the intent to kill, Sanjuro said as Naruto sighed, then smirked. You don't need to tell me that, Naruto said as he unseated his sword and rushed at Sanjuro. Sanjuro closed his eyes and dodged Naruto's slice and kicked him in the stomach. You're rushing at me without proper planning, Sanjuro said, as his eyes closed as Naruto that Sanjuro kicked poofed into smoke. A shadow clone, huh? Interesting, he said, as he opened his eyes. Now then, Naruto. Come, Sanjuro said, as he had to dodge a wind slash. A wind attack by using his sword, huh? Sanjuro thought, as he blocked the slash from Naruto with his bare hands. Not bad, you're pretty fast for a Genin, Sanjuro said as he flipped back and landed gracefully. Naruto was in front of Sanjuro, wind style. Calm winds, he said as he vanished without making a single sound. He tried to slash at Sanjuro, but Sanjuro took out a kunai and blocked it as Naruto's eyes widened. He blocked it with a kunai, but how? Naruto thought, shocked. That was his strongest wind attack, and fire surrounded Sanjuro's kunai as he put the kunai at the sword and deflected it, as Naruto flicked back, gaining some distance between them. That was impressive. That attack, if it was a Chunin, they would have definitely died, Sanjuro said, impressed. If I saw that correctly, you used your fire chakra to block my wind attack, and if that's the case, I will use my water attacks, Naruto thought, as he rushed at Sanjuro at Jonin speed, his sword in his right hand and his left hand going through one-handed hand signs. Wind style. Lateral water slash, Naruto said as his sword was covered in water and appeared in front of Sanjuro. Ah! Naruto screamed, and Sanjuro took out another kunai and blocked Naruto's attack by applying fire chakra to his kunai, and the water chakra around Naruto's sword evaporated. What the? Naruto thought. Sanjuro, seeing the reaction on Naruto's face, smirked and kicked him away. That sent Naruto flying as Naruto in midair created shadow clones. It's all or nothing, Naruto thought, as the shadow clones grabbed his legs and threw him towards Sanjuro in high speeds. Lightning style, flash step cutter, Naruto said as the speed even increased more. As he rushed at Sanjuro, his sword crackling with lightning. With lightning in a blink of an eye, Sanjuro took out his sword and stopped Naruto's attack. Naruto had a smirk on his face. Looks like I got to take out your sword, Naruto said, in a tired tone as he collapsed. Very impressive, Naruto. Even Jonins don't force me to use my sword, Sanjuro said, as he caught Naruto in his arms. I see, the technique uses most of his chakra, but I guess Master Jiraiya was right about him being reckless, Sanjuro thought, as he carried Naruto to the Hokage's office. At the Hokage's office, Sanjuro appeared in the Hokage's office in a fire scene, and the old Hokage jumped in surprise. Sanjuro, you know there's a door and a window, right? The old Hokage asked. Sanjuro ignored the old man's comments. Sorry, old man, but it is always fun to see you freak out, Sanjuro said with a cheeky smile on his face. Here's inside. So, how did Naruto do? Is he knocked out cold in your back? Hiruzen asked. Well, the kid is impressive, very impressive, if I may add. His speed for a Genin is extraordinary. I would even say that he's fast at a Jonin like Asuma, Sanjuro said with a smile as he laid Naruto on the couch. I see. Well, his speed is as expected, knowing his father, and he wants to surpass his father, Hiruzen said. There's a knock on the door. Come in, he said, as Suki and Sasuke entered. Lord Hokage, we need some money from the Uchiha clan funds, Sasuke said, but Suki saw Naruto and rushed towards him. Hey, what did you do to Naruto? Suki said, glaring at Sensor, who looked at her with a bored expression. Nothing. He and I just sparred and he's exhausted most of his chakra, Sensor said in a bored tone. Who are you, by the way? Sensor asked as Hiruzen's sweat dropped. Well, I'm Suki Uchiha, Naruto's best friend, Suki said, with her hands crossed. Sensor looked at her. Best friend, huh? Sensor said as he eyed Suki. Well, I must say, Naruto did a pretty good job, Sensor said with a smile as Suki blushed. Naruto opened his eyes to see the ceiling of the Hokage's office. What the? Am I in Gigi's office? Naruto said as he looked around to see a grinning Sensor, a blushing Shuki, and the Hokage with a smile, and Sasuke with a smirk. Well, what the hell is happening? Naruto asked as all of them looked at him. You're at the Hokage's office, Sensor said, as Naruto gave him a look that screamed, stupid. Sensor's sweat dropped. Definitely Minato's son, he thought, as he remembered his best friend giving him the same look when he spoke something obvious. I see that, and I'm guessing that you brought me after I forced you to use your sword, Naruto said with a grin. Sensor looked at him and smiled, and then sighed. Correct, he said, as Naruto ignored him and started walking towards Suki. Your face is all red. Do you have a fever or something? Naruto asked, as he placed a hand on her head. Suki's face was the color of a tomato. I'm fine, she said. Sensor looked at both of them and then turned to the Hokage. Please tell me that he's not that oblivious, Sensor said as the Hokage chuckled and nodded. Well, it looks like he's like Minato in the matters of girls as well, Sensor thought. Okay, Naruto, meet me at the training ground 20 at 7 a.m. sharp. We're going to be training tomorrow, Sensor said, as he vanished in a burst of flames. Well, Suki, let's go to Ichiraku Ramen, Naruto said as Suki blushed. Is he asking me out? She thought. Hey Sasuke, you can come if you want as well, Naruto said. Suki got a tick mark on her head. Of course he wouldn't ask me out, she thought, then sighed and smiled. Well, it's Naruto. What do you expect? She thought. I'll pass, Sasuke said, as Naruto looked at Suki. I'll go, she said with a smile, as Naruto smiled at her. Let's go. I'm starving, Naruto said as he grabbed Suki's hand and vanished in a yellow flash. What was that? Sasuke asked. He knew that it was not a Shunshin or a body flicker. That was a body flicker at very high speeds, the Hokage lied. Sasuke left the room, mumbling about something about surpassing Naruto. Naruto and Suki arrived at Ichiraku Ramen in a yellow flash. Naruto was huffing, whereas Suki was looking ready to throw up. Damn it, still, it consumes a lot of chakra. I have to get this down soon, Naruto thought as he looked at Suki who was glaring at him. What the hell was that? And why are you so tired? She asked. Naruto gave her a cheapish look. Well, you could say that jutsu is a part of my heritage, but I haven't mastered it yet, Naruto said as Suki sighed. As the boat entered the ramen shop. Hey old man, Naruto said to the ramen guy, who turned around and looked at him. Hey Naruto, welcome. So, what can I get for you? The old man asked. And Naruto smiled. Well, the regular, Naruto said as the old man nodded. And for you, little girl? He asked. Asuki answered, the same as Naruto, she said. The ramen guy nodded. Coming right up, he said as he went to prepare their ramen. So, what was that over your heritage? Suki asked. Naruto looked at her and sighed. Sorry, I can't tell you, but once I become a Chunin, Gigi will announce it to the whole village, Naruto said. Asuki pouted. You always say that, but you don't trust me, she said, in a little sad tone, as Naruto sighed. It's not that I don't trust you, I simply can't tell you because Gigi told me not to tell anyone until I'm strong enough to protect myself, Naruto said, as Suki smiled at him. I understand, she said, as Naruto smiled at her. So, who is your Jonin sensei? Naruto asked. Suki looked at him. His name is Kakashi Hatake, and outside of that, he didn't tell us anything. So, he also told us that there will be a test tomorrow, which he decided that we become a genin or not, she said as Naruto chuckled. Well, good luck with that. I'll tell you this. Go to that place that he told you. 2 hours late, Naruto said. Asuki raised an eyebrow but nodded. Next day, Naruto and Senzuru were standing at the training ground. Oh, Sensei, what are we gonna do today? Naruto asked as Senzuru looked at him with a serious look. Naruto, do you know about the 9 swords of legends? Senzuru asked as Naruto nodded. Yeah, the 9 swords of legends are the swords that have enormous power and each sword specializes in some power, Naruto said as Senzuru nodded. Well, that is the truth, but the sword chooses its master. Over the years, the sword have different masters except 2 swords, Enma and the Sword of Darkness. Over the years, only these 2 swords had one master. Now, two Enma, wielded by the Sage of the Six Paths himself, and the Sword of Darkness was wielded by a man named Kaiden. Their ideals were not the same. Where the sage wanted to bring peace through love, Sato wanted to bring peace through power. So they battled. The sage won, and after the death of the sage, Enma never accepted anyone as its master. Whenever someone tried to use the blade, the chakra would drain immediately. The Sword of Darkness was similar until now, Sandra said. Naruto listened to the story and he was pretty shocked. He knew where this was going. You were chosen as Enma's master, and the Sword of Darkness chose Sato as its master. I have fought Sato before, and let me tell you, he's even stronger than I am, and only someone who is wielding Enma can defeat him. The man is pure evil. He wants destruction in this world, and the only person who can stop him is you. Sandra said in a serious tone as Naruto looked at him with a calm expression. I understand, but I don't know Enma's full strength yet. How am I going to suppose to beat this Sato guy when I can't even land a hit on you? Naruto said, worried as Sandra sighed. You're young, and you have 4 years to grow. From now, he will start making his moves. Until then, I will train you how to use Enma. Before that, let me explain the 5 stages of the 9 swords, Sandra said as Naruto looked at him. The 5 stages of the sword, what does that mean? Naruto asked, confused. Well, all the 9 blades can evolve 5 times like my blade. It is at its 5th level. It means I can use all my sword's power. Right now, your sword is at level 1. Sandra explained. Naruto nodded. How can I evolve, Enma? Naruto asked. I was gonna get into that, but first you must train with your blade, and when the blade thinks that you're strong enough to handle its power, it'll evolve into its 2nd stage. First do that, then I will tell you what to do after, Sensor said as Naruto nodded. Okay, now, from what I saw your battle yesterday, You have the affinity to lightning, wind, and water, Sanjuro said, as Naruto nodded. I will tell you one thing, that Enma can wield all elements, unlike my sword, which can only wield fire, Sanjuro said as Naruto nodded. What they're trying to say is that I'll have to train all of my affinities, Naruto said as Sanjuro nodded. First, I want you to work on that final move that you used against me. I want you to master that completely. And also, I will give you a tip. Don't use too much chakra on that lightning move. Try to use less chakra but deal the same amount of damage. And for that work on your horizon, I will help you whenever I can, Sanjuro said as Naruto nodded and unsheathed his sword and made 100 shadow clones, as Sanjuro raised an eyebrow. Why did you make so many shadow clones? Sanjuro asked, as Naruto smiled. Well, you see, I figured out this yesterday, that I will get all my memories and experience from my shadow clones when they are dispelled, Naruto said as Sanjuro's jaw dropped. You mean you can gain years worth of training in 1 week, he said. Naruto nodded and turned to the shadow clones. Okay, 50 of we will practice the flying regime. 50 will spar with each other using Enma, and I will be doing physical exercise to increase my speed, Naruto said, as all the clones nodded and got to work. Sanjuro looked at the whole scene with a smile on his face and told the clones their flaws in the stance and the speed, and also how to improve him. Okay guys, this is it for the Legacy of the Yellow Flash chapter 3 and 4. The next chapter will be dropping tomorrow, and also stay tuned for what if Naruto was neglected and ended up like Obito. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. So see you guys in the next video. Peace.